Guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm not actually doing a product review today. Right now, I'm actually going to be going over hybrid top safety. It's one thing that's commonly overlooked. A lot of people think that vapes are dangerous. Vapes blow up. They'll look at something like this little smoke pin and think, oh, that's dangerous, it's going to blow up. That's not the case. The very few times there have been an incident where a vape is blown up, it's not on regulated devices, it's not on starter kits, it's not on the little pins, it's not even necessarily just on the vape on the unregulated devices. The issues come with the mech mod, the hybrid top mech mods, and that's because what happens, people will go and put very unsafe RDAs on their hybrid top. First thing I'm going to go over is what is a hybrid top. Okay guys, so what I have to show you are a couple different mods, and I'll go over the difference and explain to you what makes it a hybrid top and what doesn't, because some viewers don't know what a hybrid top actually is. Now most vapes, if you look right here, you see the 510 pin. You look at an RDA, 510 pin. Okay. If you look at the tip, you'll see how the centerpiece protrudes and you have your threads. Threads are going to be the ground, or the negative. The threads are the negative and the center pin is the positive. Now what happens, you screw it on, make a connection, all good. Now on a hybrid top, things are a little different. And I'll show you this one right here. There is no 510 pin. And a lot of people are going to sit there and ask me, well, Reese, how does it make the electrical connection? Because if you look straight through, you'll see what happens with these. The RDA actually sits directly on the battery. And what can make that dangerous is 510s that don't protrude properly. And I'm going to show you this as an example. This 510 does not protrude. Now this is just a little adapter, but you can get the point, because I don't have any 510s. I don't use any 510s that don't protrude for my own personal reasons. You want something that protrudes sufficiently. Now in a comparison, I'm going to show you this RDA right here. Look how much that joker protrudes. Sticks way out there. And then this one that is flush. If you use one like that silver adapter I showed you, what happens is, here's your battery, okay? Positive, pretty self-explanatory, you should already know this by now. Positive and negative, okay? VTC4, by the way, my personal preference. What ends up happening is people do that, and the positive post sits directly on the battery, which is fine. The negative travels through the casing of the mod itself to complete the connection. Whenever you press the button, it pushes the battery to it, makes that perfect connection, and you're good to go. Problem, when you run one like this with the flat 510, or it doesn't protrude, you end up running into issues of the ground and the positive both touching the positive post in the battery. Now what happens there is it actually shorts it out, causing the battery to superheat. When it superheats, it's gonna, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna vent. If you would dissect the battery, I'm not gonna actually dissect one for you right now, but there's a little small vent hole, and that's when the battery gets superheated. It pops a little cap in there and it just vents all the gases out to prevent it from blowing up, which granted, it can cause a couple 100-degree temperatures, very, very, very hot, but it's not going to kill you. It's not going to severely harm you. It can burn you though. The danger comes from when it gets too hot too fast, like shorting it out. When you short it out, it can cause that battery to go boom, and a single 18650 is very powerful, much less if you're running a series mod, a stacked. I've seen some with even 3 batteries, 3 battery parallel, and somebody shorted out and boom, instantly on the spot. It's gets pretty bad. So it's a real big thing about safety with these things. You want to make sure it protrudes. Another thing you don't want to do, I'm gonna use my Stark mod right here for example. Always, before you put your battery in, always screw your RDA on first. Because if you don't screw your RDA on first and you pop the battery in, screw it down, hit the button, the RDA won't screw down far enough, and you can possibly cause the positive post to hit the negative on the top, and that could also short it out. So always, honestly, my personal preference, even if it's has a 510 pin, I always screw my RDA on first. It's one of those things where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It doesn't take but a minute to do it. It doesn't take any longer. Your RDA has to go in anyways. Just put the RDA on first. Anyway, take your battery and drop it down. Good to go. Then you take the bottom button, squeeze it on, and you don't want to screw them on too tight. You know, it could possibly bend the tip. This little prong right here can bend. If it bends too much, it could short itself out. So you don't want to over tighten it. You just want it on there just to where it's, you know, snug on there. Press the button and it fires. Now, a lot of you guys have only seen the tube styles and wonder, how does one like this work? Well, it is a little different. So I'm actually going to go ahead and slightly pull this apart and show you guys how the Stark mod works, because I received a couple messages on Facebook asking, you know, hey, how does your Stark mod work? How does your Pantera work? You know, I'm gonna go ahead and take this, kind of slightly take this apart, and I'll show you. Okay, so you go ahead and if you pull the firing button off, it unscrews. You can see exactly how it works. If you look in here, you see the battery and you see the copper sleeve that it sits in. Okay, the copper sleeve right here, the copper ring right here that it screws into, connects to the top. Now, what happens is, little firing button, you press it, it protrudes just enough to make contact. And when you screw it down, it actually makes a connection on the negative side. So you're good to go. Now, honestly, I like a hybrid top meg mod. And a lot of people ask me, well, why use a hybrid top meg mod if it's not the safe way to go? If there's safety risk in a hybrid top that there aren't in a regular series or parallel box with a 510 pin. You know, regulated mods, there's, you know, don't have the safety issues. Why do you use one? Well, it's simple. Press the button, you have fire. There's no wires, no circuit boards, no MOSFET chips, nothing. Your RDA is sitting directly on the battery, so your only limitations are how powerful that battery is. You hit it full power, the second you hit it, you got a complete circuit. You don't have to worry about wires impeding the flow, the current. You don't have to worry about circuit boards, poor solder jobs. You don't have to worry about any of that, and you just get full power. Honestly, it's the best way to go, in my opinion, as long as you're safe about it. You know? Yes, you can run an RDA on a regulated mod. Yes, you can run anything. But I like to be able to press my button and have my power right when I hit it. I don't like the slow ramp up times. I don't like to have to worry about upping and downing my wattage. You know. Now, one thing to remember when you're building RDAs, learn Ohm's law. You don't want to build too low of a resistance to coil. You also don't want to build too high of a resistance. Personally, I normally run on a single battery hybrid top. I'll run about a 0.11 as far as the resistance goes. 0.11 is just fine. It's not too high. Definitely not too high. Definitely not too low. Not going to overwork those batteries. You know, not going to overheat the batteries too much. Even vaping constantly, your battery is going to be out of juice before it gets overheated. And with it only being a 0.11 as far as resistance goes, you're not overworking the battery, so you have longer battery life. and it hits a lot harder. I like a good hit. So, any other questions? Feel free to leave any comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Anything else you'd like to know about hybrid tops or hybrid top safety? There's a lot of things I'm pretty sure that I forgot, and I know there's some things that I left out. So go ahead, ask anything. Once again, check us out on Facebook. We are First Class Mods Vape Shop. I'm going to leave our name down in the description so you can go ahead and see and add us on Facebook. Do online sales. We will, if you contact us through Facebook, we'll actually go and send it out. We carry a lot. We carry mechanical mods, hybrid tops. We carry regulated, unregulated. We carry a large selection of juice. We carry tanks, RDAs. We even carry fidget spinners. So go ahead and add us on Facebook, and you're going to definitely enjoy it.